What's going on, everybody? This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. Today is April the 1st, 2025, April Fool's Day one time. Got Brian and Coop with me. I'm GB. What's going on, guys?
All right, fellas.
Man, we're back at it. Let's see what's going down. Talking about the NFL rule changes as they had votes from the owners' meetings out. I wanted to say they were in Orlando, I think. We'll check in on NC2A on March Madness. Baseball kicked off, so we got that going too. And then our regular segments, the game ball, hogwash, and minute to win it. So kind of starting with the league rules, I wanted to see what y'all thought. I don't know if y'all have already looked at all these. I assumed you did, but I'll kind of run down the list. I'm looking at CBS Sports. But so first thing they had on here is that the overtime rules are going to change for the regular season, similar to the playoffs, where both teams will now get a chance to possess the ball.
Well, I know Brian's happy about this one, so he should probably talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just common sense to make it so that you have it. There were plenty of really amazing games that got decided by coin flips in the regular season. And there's just no real good reason for that to have been the case. Obviously, they agreed. I mean, I don't think that this changes the product significantly enough in a bad way, but I definitely do think it makes things more interesting. Coin flips will still have a big impact because the first team gets to dictate whether or not they go for 2 or 1 or kick field goals or whatever it is. But making it this way adds a little bit of additional parity in there. People always hated to see somebody, Tom Brady win the coin flip and Josh Allen or any of these other players basically know it as a given that they're gonna lose the game. So I like it. I thought it was about time it happened. As I've said on here numerous times, I thought it should have happened, and I'm glad to see that it finally did.
Yeah, I didn't care either or. I mean, for the postseason, yeah, definitely have it. Regular season, my rule change would have been give the ball to the visiting team. They're the ones who had to travel and had to go through all the logistics issues and things like that. The home team should not have a chance to get the ball first. You had 14 possessions during the game, you didn't get it done. Give it to the road team first. But it's a coin flip. I don't really care either way. I mean, I understand why Brian and other people and other fans and media people wanted that to happen. Makes the games more interesting. You hate to see a team get the ball one time, they score, and then the game is over. I totally understand that. Like I said, to me, it makes more sense in the postseason, but they had in the regular season. It's fine. It didn't matter to me either way.
Jason, one thing for you to think about, or I'd be curious to hear your points. It's on a show down the line, is the impact to over/under lines when college adopted their rule, which obviously is still very different. The over/under lines went through the roof because you can keep it going. This is not that, right? But you could theoretically have a tie going into while you're in the 10-minute overtime where one person scores a touchdown, another one scores a touchdown, and the next score wins. I mean, that's a 17 to 21 point difference, assuming the game has a conclusion. So
that's a good point. I've benefited from that too, and been on the short end of that as well. So yeah, I've been on both ends of that. Yep, good point. We would definitely discuss that.
Additionally, the touchbacks will be moving out to the 35-yard line. So if you kick the ball through the end zone, you're getting the ball at the 30. They were trying to promote more kick returns. Now it's going to actually move up even further. So if you kick the ball into the end zone, the receiving team will get the ball to 35. They had a lot more returns this year, and they're looking to do more. So that's kind of what that's about. I don't know if that matters to you guys.
Brian, you can start with that one.
No, it doesn't. Again, I think the one that they're still talking about, it got pushed on the line, is the onside kick changes, and those are the ones that I think need to change. I mean, the onside kick has become useless. I still think they should do a 4th and 20, 25 or something like that, where either you convert it and get to keep the ball, or don't convert it and the other team gets optimal field position. We'll see how that goes when it actually happens. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, the kickoff rule means nothing to me. Nothing at all.
Fair enough.
Moving on.
Additionally, replay assist can now be used on more penalties. So you can now also, as long as a flag is initially thrown, the booth can look at hitting a defenseless player, face mask, horse collar tackles, tripping, roughing, tripping or roughing and running into the kicker.
So, okay, here's my thing on that one. I don't mind replaying the 15-yard ones, the ones on the quarterbacks, the ref. Most of the stuff that you said are the 15-yard ones. Holding, I don't think should be reviewed. All that stuff is subjective. But those 15-yard ones, the ones that award, I would say pass interference to the ones downfield where they get the ball at the 1-yard line. That's always been a little stupid to me. How you can just throw the ball up in the end zone, pass interference, you automatically get the ball at the 1. Stuff like that, I think should get reviewed. Especially with these quarterbacks, man. Some of these quarterbacks are like, it's just barely a hit or get touched, and there's a referee already there just ready to throw a flag. So yeah, definitely that as well. Everything does need to be reviewed, but I think the ones that they selected, I think especially defenseless receiver and stuff, that should be reviewed just for clarity. So I agree with that. Brian, what you think?
Yeah, well, they're only reviewing them if there's already a flag thrown and if it's one of the 15-yard variety penalties. The running into the kicker is the only one, but that's because they throw a flag for either roughing, which is a 15-yard penalty, or running into, which is a 5-yard penalty. They can go back and review each one. But other than that, it's all of them, right? Face mask 15, horse collar tackle 15, tripping 15, hitting a defensive player 15. Holding wouldn't be worth it. I'm sure they figured that out because, quite honestly, it's so subjective that they can always say that their call was correct, even if it wasn't. The face mask. Here's the reason why I have a problem with this. It's only if there was a flag thrown.
Correct.
The reason why the reason why this fails is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Rams game, which I was at, in which it was clear that they tried to rip, Sam Darnold's head off in the end zone. And the most important play of the game, ultimately, it was they gave him a safety, and the game was basically effectively over. There was no flag thrown on that play. It was blatant. It was super clear. It was an absolutely impactful play, and that was not solved for in this, and that's problematic because there's no reason to believe that if someone had reviewed that play, that there was any subjective nature in which they would not have said, "Hey, that was done." I mean, he was literally looking through his ear hole at the end of that play, and the refs just missed it. And I don't blame refs for missing a huge play. I do in the moment, obviously, but I understand that things happen. But why they don't include this in the replay assists is beyond me.
Yeah, they said only they're limiting the scope to objective penalties that can be overturned with clear and obvious video evidence. But like Brian said, a flag has to be thrown already. So that's how that's going to work.
Yeah, but clear and obvious. I mean, just because these rule changes came out, don't expect a lot of calls to be overturned. It's not going to. It's like when the NBA did it and everybody got all happy. If there was any contact on the play, it's not going to get overturned because they can just say that was a foul, whether you thought it interfered with the shot or whatever. So I expect a few things here or there to be overturned, but as far as this overwhelming thing, nah. I think because that's saying that the referees don't know what the hell they're doing, and nobody wants to portray that for their sports league to have all these calls overturned.
It misses, like I said, it misses the point. I mean, if that play is not in the circle of things that can be reviewed,
then why? Yeah.
What have you accomplished?
Right.
It was the play that brought that into mainstream conversation this past season. Every season there's one, but that was.
Well, when they had that caveat, the flag has to be thrown. That means somebody actually see it.
Yeah,
somebody has to see it. Yeah, or want to call it
during game time. Yep.
Yeah.
Additionally, they're changing some of the flexing rules for Thursday night games, so they can flex. They can now basically they've been able to flex any Thursday night game between week 13 and week 17, as long as they give about a month advance, 28 days. They're changing that now to 21 days. So giving themselves, instead of a month, a little bit more time for them to decide this game is better than that game. For the players, that's going to mean you can't have too many like short weeks back to back, but you could have a Sunday night game that now turns into a Thursday because it's a better matchup. My question to you guys is, one, do you care? It's really that's Amazon, right? Has Thursday night, but two, the impact to fans was my thing. Like if I'm going to Vegas on a
fans
Sunday,
and players.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Players, yes, but fans more, because if you have a ticket for Sunday and you're flying to that game, now you got to change to Thursday. That's that's 3 weeks
impactful.
and enough. Yeah.
Say it's
Yeah.
Vegas, right? So in
Right.
my case, I usually go same day. If it's a Thursday night game, I either have to take off that day and then stay, right? Unless I can because you're probably not gonna be able to get out of the game and get to the airport at a late flight. So that means I'm staying now. So that changes that. Um, which I mean, it would, for me, it's probably not going to happen, right? It'd have to be a late season impactful game. Could happen, actually. I'm cautiously
Well,
optimistic this year, but
actually, Glenn, you text messaged us last year
yeah,
about
for the
this
last
dilemma.
game, yeah, because it was for that last game, but it didn't impact me there. But we'll see what happens. And then for the players, I mean, you're prepping for a Sunday night game and find out you're getting a short weeks down the line, yeah. But depending on what your schedule is and where you're going to be, and changing travel and kind of adjusting some things. Of course, they'll figure it out, but it will be interesting too as the league goes to an 18-game season, which we will see in the next few years. Additionally, they modified the uniform policy, so now the teams can wear alternate or throwback uniforms up to 4 times per year. It was 3 times previously.
Yeah.
So there's additional game you could wear throwback unis. I'm a fan of, I mean, the Raiders unis have always been the same, but I like seeing the throwback, the Niner white and reds, old, the other teams' jerseys.
Yeah, but there's some throwback jerseys that look hideous, and we're gonna have to see them too. So I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
mean, this policy really means nothing to me, because the throwback jerseys I have, these people are either dead or they're hella old. So I really don't wear jerseys of people that's playing right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it'd be a cool thing to see every once in a while. Like, oh, I remember they used to have those
Yeah.
jerseys. You know what I mean? So
Old
yeah,
Seahawks jerseys, old
yeah,
Broncos
yeah.
jerseys, you know what I mean?
The Warren Moon Seahawk jerseys, Steve Largent back then. So yeah,
Yeah, the old Rams jerseys potentially with the old school helmet. So
the purple people eaters. Is that what they call them, Brian? The purple people eaters.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
yeah, so
old
you got
school
that.
Randall Cunningham and the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be one of the main ones is the Eagles and the Kelly Green. So you got that, and then one of the bigger things I saw, which is getting closer to what my dad had mentioned. Pops was saying they should be using GPS to call first downs for dang, I remember saying it like almost 10 years ago, but they're now going to be employing the Hawkeye technology system from Sony that is going to use 8K cameras to verify first down. So what happens is the refs will still need to see it, and then the camera can track exactly where the ball is for ball placement. So now integrating some technology into first down calls. You still have the chain gang as a secondary capacity, etc. But this should give a little bit more accuracy, and their thing is speed and efficiency. So
Brian, how you feel?
what do you guys think?
I mean, look, they absolutely should be taking advantage of technology and not be using a bunch of links and credit cards and paper to figure out. So
This guy.
It's absolutely ridiculous that they've been doing that for as long as they have. There will be times where this type of technology fails because there just simply isn't a view inside of a scrum.
The Philadelphia thing. Yeah.
But more often than not, it'll be able to get it right. And this is an improvement. I don't think it has any other, negatively impactful possibilities. So
I agree with everything you just said. But I do think, just like you said, for those 1-yard quarterback sneaks where somebody's like really under, I don't know how the hell it's going to track that. But other than that, agreed. They should have been taking advantage of this type of technology for a long time. That spot sometimes that the referees do is, I don't know where they get them spots from. Some of those spots is like, that's way off. I like
they'll
having
just run diagonally. Like, where the hell is he going?
Right. Having the chain gang is fine as a backup. I'm glad it's using them as a backup, not the primary source. So yeah, I think this is a good thing. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we still need that. Couple of rules that I thought they got tabled, but I thought were interesting. Detroit Lions suggested that defensive holding and defensive, I want to say it's interference,
defensive
not pass
holding,
interference.
not be a place
automatic first,
not be an automatic first down.
Be a spot. They wanted to be a spot foul,
which I think actually potentially could make sense.
Well, they wanted
to
get
the 5 yards.
Flat 10 or 15 yard penalty, I think it was. But So if it was 20, you wouldn't get it. It's not a spot foul. Like if you get it in the end zone, it's only a 15-yard penalty. It's closer to the college rules, basically.
Well, but
the
no,
college
but
rule also gives you the
right, they give you first down. But the Detroit Lions one, if it's 3rd and 15 and the holds happen 7 yards down the field, then it's just 3rd and 8. You don't get automatic first down. That's what they wanted, and I knew that was going to get shut down. Nobody was going to go for that. Nobody.
Well, they haven't had the vote yet. The next vote is in May. It's in May.
Okay.
In Minnesota.
I think it gets shut down. I don't think that passes.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys got a take on it? You think it passes?
I like the concept.
I have no ability to predict whether something's going to pass in this world. But
I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, just
do I think it should pass? No, I don't. I don't think this version of the rule makes sense.
Yeah.
I think this is Detroit crying over spilled
right.
milk. It doesn't come from a way of like trying to make the league better. It comes from making them feel better about a situation that didn't work out for them.
Yeah. Every team does it. Every other year, there's a team that gets mad and they want to change a rule and it just doesn't happen. But yeah, go ahead. We're good.
Fair enough.
Tush push also got moved, right?
Yeah, they're tabling that. They're trying to get the tush push removed.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You can't play it. That's tabled for now.
Yeah. I mean, you guys agree with that? You guys would ban it? Would you guys ban it?
You gotta stop. You just gotta stop it.
You gotta stop it. Exactly.
Although the most compelling argument I heard was from Mike Schlereth, and he says, "Look, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If the defense tries to do the exact same thing, they get penalized.
That's a penalty. Yeah.
Whereas,
that's
and so point. If you're going to let them do it, then you should let the defense have the ability to defend against it in a similar manner.
Oh, they'll change it. If you start letting the defense link, they're gonna change that real quick.
Right.
Real fast.
Right. And so I've always been of the mind, no, you got to defend it. Mike Schlereth's take.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It was very well put together. I don't generally like his takes that much, but I thought it was well thought out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
It is. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Additionally, the Lions proposed that, kind of based on Brian's division last year, that a wild card team with a better record potentially could get a home game instead of a division winner who has less, because that's what happened last year.
I don't think that's ever going to happen either, because if it did, sometimes these divisions, it's like, the Vikings division, well, the NFC, I guess they call it the North, was a great division last year. It happens. It's not going to be like that every single year. It's always the one division in the league, maybe for a year or two, that ends up like that. But to win your division, you want to win your division to get a playoff game. I don't think any owner is going to agree with, I won division, but I got to go on the road because my record, whatever is where I just don't think that's going to pass. I get the concept and why the record's better, but I don't think that's going to pass, because you work hard to win your division and you should get a home playoff game. That's how I feel, despite what the record is.
Yeah, I worry that this is going to pass. I still think, I'm not sure that I agree that it should pass, but I think this one, there's plenty of teams who find themselves in that wild card spot. With the Vikings this year, they were the team that absolutely would have benefited in that situation. And quite honestly, if we'd played any two teams other than we only lost to two teams all season long, right?
Yeah.
We just lost to them 2 times each. But anyways, I honestly believe that it could have been very impactful for them, but I still don't think that they should do it. It doesn't happen often enough for it to be a rule change. That said, if there's one of these rules that we're talking about that I do think gets implemented, I worry that it's this one.
Well, yeah, it does. I'm with you. It doesn't happen that often. I mean, remember when Marshawn Lynch, ran against the New Orleans Saints? New Orleans Saints had a better record. They were like 13 and something. And the Seahawks were 7-9 that year. Yeah. And Marshawn Lynch, took off on them, and they won that game. So it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. So that's where that's at. Interestingly enough, I think that's it, unless there was something I missed, or I think there's a free agent rule too that the Steelers proposed, where you can talk directly to the free agents during like the legal period, not only to agents. But
so that's kind of not what the Steelers are proposing is stupid, but what the NFL rule currently is stupid, because when free agency starts, I guess let's just say it's July 1st or whatever first date it is, and all these deals are being announced. Well, all three of us know, just like everybody else with a brain knows, these deals were already in the works for a month or two already. So everybody's already been tampering. So I don't understand why it's the combine, I think it is, and something else. And then all of a sudden you can start tampering. You might as well just let these agents and players just start talking from the very beginning and get rid of
What they
that,
need to do. Yeah.
that middle area. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me why the NFL has that. I don't know if you got a take on that, Brian.
No.
Yeah.
It could also be, a lot of NFL's been around 100 years. So some of this stuff is from, back in the day
Yeah.
when stuff was a little different, including
Yeah.
like, how you have to have all the money in escrow for a
Signing
guaranteed
bonus,
portion of a contract and all that,
Yeah.
which makes sense, right? But back in the day when the league didn't have money, you want to make sure
Yeah.
you could pay the guy. A little
Now
different
that's
now,
no
but
issue now. Yeah.
so it could be similar with that with the free agent rule, but we'll see what happens. So that's that NFL a little bit. March Madness, man, check in. We were talking about the brackets. Somehow I'm in first. I just basically picked all the top teams, like Brian was saying earlier before we got on the show. So that's what's happening in our thing.
Good year to do it.
Yeah, I just picked the top teams, and so far we're in the league. So I'll getting closer to Coop's 100.
Real talk. Real talk. Well, so here's the thing. Brian got 3 out of 4. Of the Final Four. Brian has Auburn, Florida, Houston.
Everyone but Duke.
Everyone,
Everyone,
right.
yeah.
Everyone but Duke, right. And then I had everybody but Florida. I think I had Texas Tech beating them, and they found ways to epically trick off that game, and Florida came back. Credit to them to win that game. I got 3 out of 4. Glenn, do you have all 4 people in the Final Four? All 4?
I think all my guys are still there. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the first. Well, not one of the first. It's
Okay.
been a long time since it's been 4-1s.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
So GB has all 4. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any predictions who makes a championship game? Brian, who do you have as a championship game? I don't.
Well,
I don't know
okay.
if you
So there's a difference between what I've seen now that I've seen
Yeah.
2 weeks of basketball and have been
Sure.
able to watch the tournament, and what I picked. So what I picked is Florida to win the national championship. I had them beating Alabama, who was a team that was going to beat Duke, or going to beat Arizona, who I had beating Duke. But I do think it's highly likely that this is a Florida versus Duke national championship. And I do think Florida has been dominant throughout the season, except for in a couple games during this tournament, like the last game, obviously we were talking about with Texas Tech, but Duke has not slipped an iota. And so, if I were doing a second bracket or something like that with what I know now, I'd almost certainly be picking Duke to win the national championship. But like I said, when I did my picks before, and they've been going pretty well, I had Florida beating Alabama for the national championship. I thought with Cooper Flag kind of limping a little bit, I thought, someone could take him out early. That didn't happen. They're playing great ball. Wouldn't be surprised. I do not think Auburn or Houston has a snowball's chance of winning the national championship. Maybe one of them upsets the team that they're playing this week, but if Florida goes up against Houston, I think Houston's toast. If Auburn goes up against Duke, I think they're toast. So it's either going to be Florida or Duke, in my opinion.
I don't even know who I have in the championship game. I think I have Houston playing. I have
Auburn.
Houston winning Auburn, right? Yeah. Okay. So, like you, Brian, like you, Brian, I got, I not like you, but I have Houston win the national championship. I'm not sure they get past Duke when they play on Saturday. Houston, the only way I think Houston can win is if the referees let them play and they're physical against Duke and sort of let them rough them up a little bit. I think that's the only way Houston can win. After seeing Duke play and after seeing Houston play in this tournament, Duke should beat them. It'll be a shock to me if Duke loses to Houston. On the other side, I know I made a couple bets on Peerless One Sports. I've advertised on Auburn. Auburn's been looking pretty good. I don't think Florida is a bad team, but I think Auburn will beat Florida and go to the national. I just think Auburn is good, and I think they're not being talked about as much as the other good teams in the tournament. I think Auburn is pretty. They're pretty solid. So I got them playing Duke if I had to do it all over again for the championship. Obviously, I hope Houston wins for my pool, but I think it would be very surprising if Duke lost to Houston. GB, any thoughts? I don't know who you got in your championship game.
I concur. I got Duke in Florida. So
okay.
Yep, and Duke winning it by a few points. So yeah, it's basically like Brian was saying earlier. Depending on who wins, if any of whichever team wins, someone else wins the bracket. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Whoever
Yeah.
wins the championship, it has a different implication. So
Yep.
that's fun. That actually works out cool.
No
So
doubt.
yeah,
No
so
doubt.
March Madness is happening. That's still in full way. I've only seen a few games and just kind of checked in on the women's tournament. Have you guys watched any of it? When Juju got hurt, I saw
Yeah, I
when that
watched that
happened.
live. That sucked
Yeah,
because she was having a typically good game and a great tournament. Yeah, I watched that live. I did think that was a little. They said it's not a dirty call, but it was certainly a competitively aggressive call, foul. You know, she kind of chipped her as she was running, and that blew the knee. But and you could tell pretty instantaneously that was the end of USC's dream of winning a national championship.
Yeah.
You know, they can win games still. They're the only
Yeah.
one seed not in the women's Final Four.
Yeah.
Beaten, you know, perennial champion UConn took out USC as a result of the injury. And Paige Buchers has been lighting it up the last couple games. Her stock, you know, I think she's kind of the consensus number one in the WNBA next year. The woman who was the prohibitive number two pick from Notre Dame declared she wasn't going to go into the draft. And so that likely means the second best player from USC ends up being the number two player. But
nice.
The women's tournament is usually pretty chalky. And the reason for that is the top teams are just able to build absolute powerhouse destroyers. There's just not as much depth. There's a lot of talent at the top. But, you know, usually it's 2-3 players from each of these top 5 or 6 teams that go to the WNBA. Doesn't make it any less fun to watch, though. The games are usually somewhat entertaining, especially when you get to the Final Four or Elite Eight Final Four, when you're getting these 7, 6, 5, 6, 7 powerhouse teams playing each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Any thoughts on any other teams in the NCAA tournament, Brian, that you thought maybe were better than you thought or worse? For example, you know, I thought UConn, even though they came in as an 8th seed, I thought they had a lot of grit.
You're talking about the men's tournament.
Yeah, men's tournament. Yeah.
So
hold on, before you do that, Final Four for the women: UCLA versus UConn, South Carolina versus Texas. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. The only thing that I will say is I did not watch a lot of college basketball going into it.
I never do.
So most of my impressions were raw, but I will say that UConn looked like one hell of an A seed. And if they had found a way to do some Cinderella magic, I would not have been shocked. But nobody could this season. So they certainly proved that they were being undervalued as an A seed, especially coming off of back-to-back championships.
Yeah, they definitely show a lot of toughness and grit, but also got to give Florida props too, because they played different styles. Against Norfolk State, was pretty much run up and down the court. Against UConn, that was a grind game. I mean, the referees were kind of letting them get bodied up a little bit by UConn. They got through that. Once they got past UConn, they played another different style of basketball game, playing against the University of Maryland. So Florida, to me, has proven that they can play different styles. They can play, you know, gut wrenching, you know, slow it up, physical style a little bit. They also can, you know, run up and down the court as well. So that was interesting to see. I don't know if those guys on that team are coming back next year, but that was a good team. And then to see John Calipari in Arkansas make a run in the tournament, that was win a couple games. That was a good thing too, because I always thought John Calipari was a good coach. You know, and he beat Rick Pitino too as well. So that was a good match to see.
Yep.
Other than that, that's it. Oh, don't let McNeese State back in the tournament no more. Their games are boring, clunky. They don't make shots. Yeah, they'll score 10 points at halftime. But yeah, other than that, that's it.
Yeah, you always got one of those. All right. So we got nothing else. I just wanted to kind of check in on baseball because the season has officially kicked in. We're a few games in. Kind of want to talk about it to see if you had seen anything about the A's and SAC, but also kind of what's going on. Still early in the season, so you know it's 60 games or something, 162 games. So there's plenty of time left. But right now I was seeing
the A's haven't won a game, and so I'm not watching them until they win one.
They're 2-4 right now.
I thought they were 0-7. Oh, my bad. I'm looking at something else. That was another team. My fault.
Yeah,
Sorry about
A's are
that.
2-4. Dodgers are 6-0.
They're 6-0, yeah, and so is the
Yeah, the
Padres.
only two
Padres.
undefeated teams, Padres and Dodgers,
Yeah.
Both
both
6-0
6-0.
in the National League West.
Um,
Yep,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Atlanta. That's 0-5. My fault. I thought that was the
that's
A's.
crazy.
The-
They're
the
losing right
Dodgers-
now to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Dodgers really look pretty outstanding. Obviously, the
They should.
Padres, but the Dodgers got a few games out there. It's kind of fun to watch. Sasaki got shelled in his first start in Dodger Stadium, and they still were able to win that game.
In
I think
exciting
the
fashion.
most interesting. Say again.
It's in exciting fashion from what I saw.
Yeah. The one thing that I think the main storyline of interest is the new bats that the Yankees are playing with. These
Yeah.
torpedo bats.
Yeah, they
where
clubbing
they
people.
Yeah.
where they're just bombing.
Yeah.
They had a 20-9 win. You got that right. They had 20 runs in a game.
Yeah.
They had a
Crazy.
12-3 win.
That was the next day, right? The next day
Yeah.
went 12-3. Yeah. Yeah. I took
crazy.
over in that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I would imagine that some of these other slugging teams are going to have to start looking at those bats mid-season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty crazy. Beat the
It
Brewers.
is interesting to follow the dramatic improvement in power hitting that the Yankees have had so far.
I love
Mm-hmm.
all the memes I've seen. You guys remember them old Nerf bats with the air in them,
Oh yeah.
or like the old wiffle ball bats? It's been
Wiffle
some pretty
ball.
funny,
Yeah.
funny memes. Coop, did you watch any of the A's first game in Sacramento?
I did not. I missed it. I did not. Did you?
Remember, he said he wasn't going to watch them until he found out he won, and he just found out they won. So
I know, yeah. We'll check in and see if he still watches. But I did.
Yeah.
They got their tail whooped.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I was about to say. It was like 18-4 or something. I was watching.
They lost yesterday to the Cubs. That was opening day
Yeah.
at the okay,
That's
yeah. I
Sac,
saw the score. Yeah.
They lost to the
okay.
Cubs today too.
Yeah.
I do.
That's
I mean, I've been in the
7-4.
stadium in Sac. I've been in the stadium, been in the suites. Shout out to my old employer who looked out for me on that previously. But it's it's a minor league stadium, so I've seen some hate from opposing players, kind of talking some ish behind it. I think for the A's, what they're gonna get is intimate, fan-filled games.
Yeah.
So
It's a small stadium, so it's a
it's
minor
about
league
as many
stadium.
people who showed up to A's games by mid-season anyway.
yeah, but they're all on top of you, and the stadium is full when you look out as far
Yeah.
as the stands behind.
Right.
So
It's a minor
for a
league
few
stadium.
years, for a few years till they get to Vegas. But I think it's good for the city. I can't even lie.
Yeah,
that
people are
out there get a
excited.
chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think it makes a lot of sense because when they look out to the stands, they won't know if there's so many people who wanted to go. This is all the people who could get in, or this is all the people who just wanted to go because they've had problems by mid-season and beyond to not
Yeah, I
get many
think
people in the stands. Those are sold out games now.
Yeah, I was gonna say they sell out.
Yeah. Hey, so GB, when you get back, let's make a point to get to one on a weekday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure out
Yep,
if we
or
can do like an
weekend.
evening game or whatever.
Yeah.
I could work up there, and then we could do an evening game
Yep.
and check it out.
I'm
But,
bringing little Jace. Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's gonna be packed is one thing, right? So the A's will be playing in front of full houses. Like to
Yeah.
Brian's point, it's the same amount of fans, but now when you look at like when I was looking yesterday, it was packed out.
Yeah.
You had tons of green and gold, and then you had a lot of Cubs fans too. So I mean, Sac is a sports city, so I think it'll be for the interim. You're playing in a smaller place, but I think they actually may have a little bit of success. At least some. I'm not saying they're gonna win hella games, go to the
Right.
playoffs, but I think they'll have. It'll be more enjoyable for some of the home players than I bet people are
Yeah.
giving it.
Some of my favorite games to go to is like tomorrow when they play at 12:35. Yeah, it used to be cool to go to Oakland, close
Yeah.
by, but now they in Sac, so it's
Yeah, I
like
know.
it's a little bit too far. But
We used to do it
love
too.
those games. Yes.
Going from
Those are
work,
good.
hop on BART, bro, and
Right.
slide. Yeah,
Right.
those days are done, which sucks, man. I mean, I obviously got love for Sac, but Oakland fans, man, were fun.
Yeah.
Just being in the town and all the energy around that. For me, of being a music head, I love that. I'd hear Bay Area music played. It's one of my things that kind of hurts me the most about being in Vegas with the Raiders. Stadium is beautiful, but all the Bay Area, energy we had is gone. LA energy too. Like they perform at halftime. They had Snoop. I mean, not Snoop. They had Too Short. They had Cube, DJ Quake, which has been dope. But like the actual in-game music, and they used to play Mac Dre in the stadium at
Yeah.
A's games, at Raiders
Yeah.
games. So
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different, but we'll see what happens in the next few years.
Speaking of Mac Dre, what's funny, I meant to hit you up, Glenn, because this is totally off the subject of
I
sports,
like
but
it. You already
it
said
was a
Mac Dre.
guy, it was a guy next to me in a pickup truck who looked like he got a house full of Confederate flags. He was bumping Mac Dre up in there. I had to do a double take. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
if you see
welcome
how
to
he
the
looks,
Bay.
yeah, if you look how he looks, it's like, yeah, I don't think we're making Mac Dre. So Mac Dre is still getting play around here.
Welcome to the
Yeah,
Bay. Yeah,
yeah.
man, always.
If you ain't listen to Mac Dre, somebody might
Yeah,
want to pull up a song or something on him.
yeah,
He was good.
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Rest
My
in peace,
bad.
Dre. Nah, hey, I'm all for that, bro.
Yeah.
So that's that. Last couple segments, man. Game ball. Do you guys have a game ball?
Brian, you
B,
got
you
one?
nodded. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mine's easy. Steph Curry. As we were
Crazy.
getting ready here, homeboy was finishing off a night where he scored 52 points on
Boy's
16
nuts.
for 31 shooting and 12 for 20 from the 3-point line. Obviously 8 to 8 from free throws, but also had 10 rebounds and 8 assists,
8
and 5
times.
steals.
Mhm.
Even threw a block in there. I mean, that's just an incredible stat line. He was, out for a little while, not feeling so great. Injured, but that's one hell of a re-announcement. And he's a veteran. He's an old guy now, and
35.
he is still proving that the
37,
one thing
excuse me.
that you can't that doesn't go away with age is shooting.
Yep.
So yeah, my game ball goes to him. Congratulations, and a pretty amazing game.
And Draymond had a triple double, and Jimmy Butler at 27, 6, and 4.
Yeah, he had 27.
What
Yeah.
there wasn't, I was gonna say, what
27,
there
6,
wasn't is any defense in this game.
Yeah, I see that. 134 to 125. I see that.
Yeah, my game ball is going out to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the reason why it's going to them, yes, they are the #1 overall seed in the NBA Western Conference, or in the NBA periods, at 63-12. But the reason why I'm giving the 63 wins, 12 losses, but the reason why I'm giving my game ball is because they bounce back pretty nicely from can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you good.
My computer is just going out. Yeah, they bounced back nicely from losing James Harden, Kevin Durant, and well, I'm not gonna mention Westbrook, but they bounced back from Durant and Harden, which is very hard to do. I mean, they built through the draft, and they probably got a couple free agents here or there, but to be able to come back and still be competitive like this after losing them, they deserve. I'm not saying they're gonna win the title, but they're competitive and they're competing. So good for them. They get my game ball.
Yeah.
This is all about Shea, and that's one of the greatest trades ever, right? I mean, getting rid of Paul George, who I love or have loved, but getting a superstar right before he becomes a superstar, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, that's going to go down as one of the best trades ever.
I would say, wasn't that boy in the Kings too?
Who? Paul George?
Shea.
No, I think he got drafted by the Clippers and traded to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But Paul George's been around the world. I know he was with the Philadelphia 76ers. I thought he was still with the Clippers, but now he's out for the season. He's hurt. But I didn't even know that until I found out he was hurt.
Yeah, it was all right. Halliburton was on the Kings. Shea wasn't. All right, I thought they had him. No, you're right. From Toronto. Didn't even know that. Canadian.
Yep.
Word.
He don't play like Wiggins though. But go ahead. Yeah.
Wiggins had a couple of big games too. Like a couple of weeks ago, had some 40-point games, but don't really matter because Miami ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Mine, City of Sac, man. Got the A's, chance at having a pro baseball team. Shout out to my people out there. Hope all my nieces and nephews get to go to a game and see pro baseball in their backyard. May not be big league stadium, but you still get the atmosphere and get to see some star Major League Baseball talent. So, and Sacramento gets another chance to show that they're a sports town and audition for future pro teams, which we're supposed to get a soccer team and whatever else comes next. So, shout out to the city. They get my game ball for putting on a good game. They represented for Ricky Henderson. They got all the players up there on the stadium, all the greats. So shout out there. Hogwash. This is Brian's segment from years. I think we've probably been doing this a year now or so, where Brian was saying something was hogwash, and we turned it to a weekly segment. You guys got anything that's hogwash right now?
I do.
Go for it.
Zion Williamson.
Do he play?
Right.
Captain Fat Ass got shut down for the season.
Damn,
but the reason he's on my hogwash list is not because he is finally out for the season, because he's just been injured the whole time. And it's also not because he's on my fantasy team and thanking it because he didn't play very much, because the stats were decent when he did play. It's because he's now become the betting favorite to land on the Lakers next season.
What? Oh.
Luka Doncic. And so now the Vegas odds say that if he were to get traded at any point in time in the next year, it would most likely be to the Lakers, because guess what he does a lot of? Alley-oops. And what did Luka say he wants?
Eat a partner.
He hits the buffets. Him and Luka, man, they're going to be fast friends, because they're going to jack up a hometown buffet near you.
Man, Roscoe's and everything.
Hometown buffet.
They are going to be happy. Golden Corral, Roscoe's, In and Out.
They should put them as the two
burger.
Yeah, they should put them as the two new players to start the new team in Vegas, because all them buffets in Las Vegas.
Oh man,
they would be able to. They'd be sponsored. Cold. They'd be sponsored by the Bellagio for the buffet.
Damn, that's hilarious.
Oh, bro, jeez.
Both of them. Anyways,
it's a lot of good food in the LA area too, especially if Zion knew Brian, because Brian always takes us to good spots too. So
he was in New Orleans, bro. Like,
I'm not playing professional sports, but
man,
we have similar eating styles. The seafood diet.
Oh man,
we eat
it. Mine is gonna be for the Philadelphia 76ers. It's just an example of how not to run a franchise. The process and everything else, it just amounted to, I don't think they even made the Eastern Conference Finals, to be perfectly honest with you. They made all these trades: Harden, Ben Simmons, Paul George. Nope. I mean, none of it's ever worked. They got Embiid. I think he shut down too. That hasn't worked either. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just not how to build a franchise. It seemed like the Philadelphia 76ers is the get rich quick kind of guy that never got rich. So, that they're my hogwash of a franchise. Just pitiful. That's all.
That's funny. I ain't got one. That's funny. You don't got it. Minute to win it, man. I'm gonna just go first real quick. Shout out to Dion, man. Got that contract. Colorado knows what's good for him. Keep doing it around. He's been increasing sales and enrollments and applications and all kind of stuff came on with the prime effect. So I'm very curious to see what happens now that his son is gone. Both sons are gone actually, and what the team does now as far as recruitment, etc. But shout out to Dion on the big contract. You guys?
I don't have one. Brian can close it.
Me.
So I got a few. While we were here and just moments ago, I got a text that Val Kilmer just passed away. A lot of great movies he did over the years. Some of my favorites. But sad to hear he had passed away just now. He was 64. On a positive note, congratulations to the Democrats in Wisconsin specifically. The Liberals won the majority of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which was going to be a battleground. So much so that Elon Musk spent $25 million to try and buy, and I do literally mean buy, that seat. There's never been anything close to that spent on a judicial seat ever. And Elon Musk is the same guy who's passing out $1 million checks to people who voted in his interest. So glad to see that they were able to push that aside. Last, I want to just put a mention out there. I found out last night, or actually this morning, that last night my uncle, Greg, who was a huge sports fan, specifically Ultimate Frisbee, a pioneer in the sport, had passed away. It was sort of unexpected. He had gone through a lot, but was doing very well and was very positive about his experience with the disease that he'd had for a long time, including a heart transplant. He passed away, leaving his wife behind, and my aunts, my mom and sister, or his aunts, his sister is my aunt and mom, behind. Everyone is reeling from this, but hopefully he's in a better place, mountain biking and playing Ultimate Frisbee.
Man, rest in peace, Uncle Greg. Yes, man, damn,
that's right.
And this is Sports Counterpoints, April 1st, 2025. We'll catch y'all next time.